Welcome to the Education Corner, a podcast by Education Choices magazine.
Education Corner podcast would like to welcome Mr. Chris Muller, headmaster at Sir William Perkins School, an academically selective day school for girls aged 11 to 18 situated in Chertsey, Surrey. We're thrilled to welcome you to our Education Corner podcast. To begin with, could you tell us a little bit about Sir William Perkins School and its ethos?
Well, thank you, Chloe, for asking me to join you on your podcast. That's very kind. So, Sir William Perkins School, we are situated, as you rightly say, in Chertsey. We're 11 to 18, all girls. We are academic selective, and we have around about 600 students in the school at the moment.
So busy times.
Very busy times. It's the exam season, of course, at the moment. Year 11s and Year 13s are, we hope, happily doing their GCSEs and A-levels.
Yeah, I was at Emmanuel yesterday and saw them all hard at work. Can you tell us a little about the points of entry and requirements for children and families considering applying to Sir William Perkins School, and a little bit more about what your admissions process is like and what sort of thing you're looking for in a William Perkins child?
Sure. So the vast majority of our students come in Year 7. They are chosen by a competitive exam. The exam is in maths and in English, but we also have entry points at Year 9 and, of course, at sixth form. We do have a number of students who are coming during the year, at Year 8 or Year 10, very, very few, and that often is the result of parents moving into the area because Surrey is quite a transitory area in terms of lots of job movement and that sort of thing. As I say, the entry to the lower years is via maths and English exam. We don't interview, but we do interview those who are in for scholarships, as well as those who we call the borderlines, those we're not quite sure are going to be really happy at this school in terms of academic performance. So we want to make sure we get it right for them as well as for us. One of the crucial things that we want to get that fit right, that they're really comfortable in what they're doing here.
And can I just ask, because lots of the schools have switched more to a kind of CAT style, atom-based, computerised assessment, are you still doing the more formal maths and English exams?
Yeah, we are. And the reason we do that is entirely because we can really understand the student. We've based a lot of our ethos on getting to know the individual. We say that we don't allow any student to fall through the cracks. So by seeing their written work, seeing, for example, them trying to work through maths problems, they may not have necessarily got the right answer, but we've got a really good idea about how they've got to that answer. And similarly with English, we can see their spelling, their creative writing, their understanding of comprehension. So those results that we get do give us a really good understanding of the individual. What we can also do is, if we're not sure about whether a student is going to be happy at the school academically, we can bring them in for a borderline interview and then really talk through the exam and see if it was a moment where they just got confused. They are, after all, very young when they're taking these exams. They're still 10 years old. Or is it something deeper, something where they haven't quite understood what they're being asked to do? So we feel those two exams, English and Maths, really enable us to understand the individual. And that's a very important part of our ethos.
And what scholarship and bursary programmes do you offer?
So we have academic scholarships in Year 7. We have sport, we have music, we have drama, and we have art. And they are all available in Year 7. And we also have those scholarships again at the beginning of the sixth form. The academic one is basically an interview of those who have come top in the entrance exam. Sport, music, drama, and art are all done through either a portfolio or a performance or some form of sporting demonstration. And so that's how we identify our scholars.
Just going back, I know that you gave a very full answer on the admissions process, but just to really help parents who are perhaps considering Sir William Perkins as a school, I know it's very difficult to generalise, but is there certain qualities that you feel you're looking for in children?
We want busy students. We're a very busy school. We're not an academic hothouse. But all our students are purposeful. They want to achieve. They want to throw themselves into everything the school can offer. So our students are those who enjoy coming to school, they enjoy the challenge of academic life, but equally they're going to be involved in sport, music and drama. They're going to be leading very, very full lives. And we feel that's what we're looking for, but we also think that's the quality that enables you to get the most out of school. In essence, to enjoy coming to school, to throw yourself and take everything that is offered to you.
So go-getters.
Go-getters is a great word for us. We believe in go-getters, absolutely. What's interesting, our vision for the school is empowering every individual to make their mark on the world. And we really feel that's at the end of 7 years here, that's what we have. Students who are going to make an impact, be responsible citizens, and really proud human beings, or we are proud of, because of what they've achieved and what they're going to achieve.
And just to kind of tie in with that, do you have, I'm sure you do have a school motto.
Yep.
And I imagine that school motto does reflect a little bit the overall ethos of the school and what you're hoping for the children.
We have a school motto, like most school mottos, it's in Latin, Arspe ad spem, and it means from hope to hope. And often parents and students have asked, what does it actually mean to have a school motto meaning from hope to hope? And how I've interpreted that is to say to look at the future with hope, with expectation, with optimism. After all, the alternative of looking to the future without hope is a pretty bleak affair. So our students are filled with hope, filled with optimism for the future, and they're justifiably, in that sense, ambitious for the future as well.
Going more in depth, what do Sir William Perkins School do supporting children perhaps from minority or disadvantaged backgrounds in the local community or as part of the school?
So we're very lucky at this school. We're a former old grammar school and we have that ethos still there. And to put it into context, what it means is we have a very diverse socially and ethically community. Half of the students who enter in year 7 will come from the state sector, half from the independent sector. So as you can imagine, that really enables the teachers and the community to feel that we're very linked nicely with our local community. We have a generous bursary scheme, as you can imagine, which enables and provides support for those parents and those students who we know would really benefit from the education here so that they can come to the school and support those from disadvantaged backgrounds. And our students are also engaged in the community at large, which we feel is hugely important. So our year 9s, for example, just this week are going into a local school, a local primary school, to talk to the year 5s in Spanish. Similarly, our 6th form will go to local charities to work and support them. And many of our staff are involved in local schools, whether it's in terms of supporting them or as governors. We're very keen to support governorship amongst our staff to primary and secondary schools. So we're very much part of our local community.
Have you carried on that grammar school ethos, do you feel, as a school? How has it benefited you, kind of having that grammar school core? Obviously, that will have affected how you've gone on.
Well, I think it's benefited because I think our students, what I call, are rounded and grounded. And they're really comfortable in all sorts of social circles and environments because they meet all sorts of social circles. And I know, talking to alumni, the ones who've gone to university, come back, they do mention that how comfortable they have felt in all sorts of backgrounds, especially in the world of work. You know, I really passionately believe that part of my job isn't just to ensure they get fantastic A-level results, which they do, or fantastic GCSE results, but also to prepare them for that world of work. You know, I always say to them that their A-level results get them to the interview table. Everything else they do in this school in terms of leadership, seizing the opportunity, working with each other, that's what will get them the job that they really want. And so I think that ethos that we have, where the students are, as I say, rounded and grounded, they're confident, but they're not arrogant. They have a sense of integrity within them. They know what the right thing to do is, even when no one is looking. It's those sorts of things that make a real difference. And when they go then into that world of work, having gone through university in many cases, but not all, then they're able to say, actually, it was Sir William Perkins School and the education we received there that really helped me.
What's the school's approach to supporting children with additional learning needs?
Sure. Now, we call it personalised learning, our SEN department, because actually it is about personalised learning. It's making sure that all students have access and able to benefit from the curriculum. And we make sure that they're tested regularly and we provide all of the relevant access arrangements and support available. We have a wellbeing room as well, which enables that support for those students who are finding sometimes the days more challenging than others. We have 4 trained counsellors on site, again, supporting students with their needs. It's something which has increased, as you know, in every school, in particular post-pandemic. But I am very proud at the way in which my staff have really risen to that and made sure that we can support students who do have these needs, because many of these students are going to be ones and are ones who are our very brightest. I think there's this myth about SEN that these are the students who may not perform well. Actually, some of our Oxford students, some of our medics are the ones who also have needs and need that support so they can access the curriculum and fulfill their potential.
And I think it's just identifying how their minds work. We've run a lot of features now on neurodiversity, and it's an area that, as a magazine, we're particularly interested in, kind of going forwards and the change in thinking that ADHD, dyslexia, all of the different labels, kind of to be more inclusive within the classroom.
We had something which I think is quite interesting on neurodiversity, which I'm also chair of governors at an FE college. Big employers now are looking at ways in which they can support their staff through neurodiversity as well. So there's lots of training courses which are being created by these colleges, which companies are asking for because they want to support their own staff and, I suspect, customers as well who are neurodiverse. So it's not just in the classroom that we're seeing this. This is we are becoming much better, I think, in identifying and then supporting people.
And not necessarily misinterpreting a very bright child that perhaps isn't performing as one would have expected.
That's right. It's getting the best out of people, isn't it? Which is what we're in the business doing.
Your school specialises in STEM. Some call it STEAM, but you're STEM. Sport and art, music and drama. Can you tell us a little bit more about this? It's obviously fantastic, any STEM.
So I'm really proud of our STEAM subjects, the STEM subjects, the science, technology subjects that we have here. We've seen a really exciting rise in computer science. And why I'm very excited by that is, of course, girls and computer science at the moment, that is in decline, I'm afraid, at GCSE and A-level and at university. However, at Sir William Perkins, that's our fastest growing subject. To give you some context of how exciting that is for us, we had 7 students doing A-level computer science last year. 6 of them went on to do computer science at university, which is pretty extraordinary. And so that's where I think the real strength of the school is coming out. We're seeing a lot more of our students do the following 2 double maths A-level, computer science and physics, which is very, very exciting. Our largest A-level subjects are chemistry and biology. We do get a lot who want to be, as you can expect, doctors and dentists and vets. That's a very strong field for us. We have specialised teaching in those areas for those students who want to pursue that. So maths, all of that is where I'm really excited, our drive and development. And it's great from the point of view of careers, because every careers specialist who comes to the school tells us they are desperate for women to go into these occupations, whether it is mechanical engineering or computer science or software engineering. There is a real opportunity for students, female women, to go into those professions. So we're really, really excited. You mentioned sport, music and drama. We're hugely successful in a great number of those things. We're a very big rowing school, as you may have heard. We're probably about 5th in the country in terms of rowing, really exciting. The National Schools is just taking place tomorrow on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. So we have high hopes for that. And we also have high hopes for Henley, the regatta, when it comes this summer. Sport, we do, in addition to that, netball and hockey. We've just become netball district champions in under 13, 14, 15 as well as in hockey. And we're just starting with cricket and football, which has become one of the more popular sports in the last 2 or 3 years. which we're embracing and making sure that we can provide that for our students as well. Music, perhaps you won't be surprised, we're also passionate about music. We have some wonderful musicians. We can hold 3 different choirs, a school choir, the junior choir, and a chamber choir. We have 2 orchestras, a junior orchestra and a senior orchestra, which is tremendously exciting. We put on around about 40 concerts in the year, which is great. And we want all of the students, regardless of their experience and their ability in music, to have that opportunity to play in public. It's part of that building confidence, to understand what it's like to be in front of an audience, to feel those nerves, but then to perform, to receive the applause from the audience, and knowing that you've achieved something really very special. So it's all part of that, if you like, building confidence in terms of our students.
And life skills.
And it's a huge life skills, absolutely. And that brings me on to the other great life skill of drama, performance in public speaking and acting. And it's really important to us that the actual production, as many students as possible are involved, because not everyone's on the stage, but the lighting or the production of the program or the simple producing of getting stuff on the stage or whatever it might be, all of those things are areas where students can get involved in and be recognized and being part of something bigger than themselves, so that when they see this fantastic production taking place, they know that they have made a contribution, and their contribution is crucial to the success of the performance and the play. So there we are.
Very exciting. All of these skills are for life, aren't they? And this edition, we're focusing on universities, careers, tertiary education. Obviously, everyone begins at nursery, but we all end up at university or some form of post-A-level education. And you, as a school, offer a comprehensive careers programme. Do you want to explain to me what this involves?
The students get careers lessons, as you won't be surprised, like most schools, but I highlight some of the things that we do that I think might be of interest. So in Year 8, all of our Year 8 students do the NHS Careers Competition, which enables them to design an advert for any particular job in the NHS, and which is not a bad employer to go for. It is the largest employer in the country, and it has extraordinarily amount of roles in it. And I like that because it enables the students to understand not just that this is what an advert might do or the roles, but actually large employers have a range of different opportunities for them to think about when they're applying. They'll need lawyers, they'll need HR officials, not just doctors and nurses, they'll need accountants. So it's an opportunity to think, actually, these are things that I might want to think about. And it's quite a nice opportunity because it's a competition which they can win something of. And it's very, very exciting. In Year 9, next year, we have a £10 challenge. They're all given £10. You can see where this is going now, can't you? They're all given £10. And they have basically got to make that £10 grow as much as they can. And so they have to work together in teams. They set themselves up with a managing director and a finance director. They've got to think about the marketing of whatever they're going to do. They have to invest, and then hopefully they will sell. And at the end of that, they'll hopefully have changed that £10 into something larger. And for the Year 9s, it's a really exciting challenge. They absolutely love doing it. And it's quite impressive, the different and various items that they create to make money. And then we come into Year 10, where they start thinking a little bit more about what they actually want to do. And of course, you won't be surprised, that's a significant element of their GCSE choices, as well as how can I make my correct choices for where I want to be in the future. When it comes to the sixth form, they do what we call a SWIPS MBA. And what we do with that is the opportunity for students to learn lots of skills, write those skills down, to really think about how those skills have helped them achieve what they want to do. And with its team building, communication, working in terms of transformative leadership, all of those things that they are doing that they can then put into a document. It's certificated by Birmingham University, so it has some certification behind it. And that they have that, And then when they go for their eventual job, if they go to university for 3 years and they go get a job, they've got those skills. They understand what they did at school and they can bring that into the interview for their job. And I know it's been successful because I've had lots of students who come back and say, that was really helpful because I really enjoyed university, but I'm not sure how much career advice I got. So I went back to school, I looked at what I did and I used those skills and I was able to articulate what I did when I went to the interview. And it's those sort of things that makes me really clear about what we're trying to do here.
I think it's so important. It's as important as an A-level, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, we all go out into the real world. Now, I'm sure you're aware, I've been looking on LinkedIn. We've recently attended a conference on AI at Cottesmore. It's obviously a hot topic in the world of education. The universities, everyone's talking about it. And we had some keynote speakers, including Sir Anthony Selden, talking about the strengths and weaknesses of AI and how it could be used in the classroom. And then obviously not for the younger children necessarily, but for older children, something that's starting to be used more and more, the chat GPT. How do you feel Sir William Perkins School is preparing its students for this change and for what we're all becoming increasingly aware is going to be a digital age?
It is, and we've talked about careers, haven't we, just previously, and it is in every profession, and it's going to be ever more in all of the professions. So we can't run away from this. We can't hope to close everything down and pretend the students either can't access it. We have a digital strategy. All our students have iPads. And what we've noticed, it expands the learning opportunities for them. We don't see the iPad as the be-all and end-all. It's a tool in their educational toolbox, if you like. It's something that they can bring out and use. It enables them to do a range of different things. So, for example, they can use spreadsheets when they're putting in data from experiments. It enables them to share in collaborative working pieces of work. It enables them to throw up their answers on the screen in classes. So it does lots and lots of things. And it does, and as I say, it broadens those opportunities for learning because after all, we are preparing them for life. It looks like that 40% of all jobs that are currently now being done may well not be in existence by the time many of my students go into the workplace. So it is really important for us to keep our eye on what is happening and making sure they're fully prepared in terms of the digital learning that they're receiving for their eventual entry into that world of work.
And do you have any concerns? I mean, there's a lot of misconception around AI for certain, but do you have concerns about the use of technology and AI in the classroom going forwards?
Well, I'm reminded, if I may, I'm a classicist by background, and there's a wonderful story from 2,500 years ago where the philosopher Socrates was lamenting about a new form of technology which he thought would destroy the world, and that was people writing things down. And his argument was that if you wrote things down, then you wouldn't remember and your memory would become weak. And this was a great fear for him. And therefore, memory would just not be very good. So in some ways, I suppose what I'm suggesting is that we've sort of been here before, that it is true that you can look through history. Every new technology causes this, if you like, existential angst about what is going to happen. Where will the jobs come from? That's a very common refrain throughout history. What happens if we mechanicize, the Industrial Revolution did exactly that? The word saboteur comes from people throwing the sabot into the mechanical machines to prevent progress. So we have sort of been here before. The question I think that people are asking is whether AI is a different level of change, whether it will change so much that we can't control it or we don't understand it. And I think that's where some of the fear is coming from. In terms of schools, there's always a worry about how to deal with this. And we've been here before with mobile phones. What we have to do, as we have done with mobile phones, is educate students about how to use these things appropriately, respectfully, because they're not going away. They will use their mobile phones, as we all do in the world of work, What I need, therefore, is to make sure that we've taught our students how to be safe online, how to use this technology sensibly, so that as they go forward, they're comfortable and also they're safe using it. It is an opportunity, AI. Of course it is. I suppose the most extraordinary thing is the speed of change. And I think that's always very, very disconcerting. The speed of change is the issue. You may have read that some of the concern is things like homework. If things can be reproduced by ChatGPT, where is the sense in which this is somebody's work? What about cheating and using computers? Do your homework or do the exam for you? And these are things that we're going to have to really think hard about. I don't think we're quite there yet, but they will be questions and discussions that we're going to have to really think hard about in terms of what does education look like in the next coming years and what is it for? What are we actually doing in education in the next 5, 10, 15 years? And perhaps ChatGPT will be the real shift to make a real change to education. It might be, if you like, the driving force.
Further to this, some of the speakers, there's conferences going on. There's one happening today at UCL at the Institute of Education. But speakers mentioned how schools are currently designed to prepare students for the 20th century, yet we are in 2023. Do you feel that the current education system is slightly outdated?
That's a really difficult question. I mean, it's interesting that we say that actually the system was devised in the 19th century, that I suspect that if I were to bring somebody from 1883, they would still see rows of classrooms. They'd have a teacher and a blackboard, if you like. Now we've got obviously a smartboard, but the essence isn't that different. And I don't think that our time travel from 1883 would necessarily be completely ill at ease with what he or she would be seeing in the classroom. It would be, I think, familiar. The question, as I say, is it going to be fit for purpose as things develop? One of the things that did happen, and I thought really interesting after the pandemic, we all went online. What I did notice was the ability of teachers and students to be comfortable in things like this, Zoom, just went through the roof. Prior to the pandemic, we wouldn't be doing this. We knew it did happen, but we probably wouldn't have actually got on and done this. Necessity, being the mother of invention that it is, drove us to work like this. And we've suddenly found out, actually, this is really quite convenient. We're doing this. I can talk to you, And so we are seeing lots of changes in that way. A good example is parent evenings. We do many of our parents like this online. Now, that means we have a much better take-up. Parents can access teachers more easily from their own home than perhaps coming into school where their firm doesn't necessarily provide them with the opportunity through the time or the distance. So there has been a big shift. AI may well be another one of these driving forces in education, which forces us to really think hard about what it is we want to do and what is education about. The one thing, however, I think which the pandemic taught us is the human element is essential. We can talk about AI as much as we want. The HI, the human intelligence, the human interaction, the sense of being physically together, that is crucial. And I think that's something which, whatever the education system of 2050 looks like, that will have to retain. So it might well be the case that we're looking more at mentors or coaches rather than, say, teachers. That might be one of those shifts, but the human element of the interaction will have to remain the same.
And computers can make mistakes.
Well, that's right, they can, and so humans. I mean, the argument is that humans might make more mistakes.
How do you then, just to finish off, and it's been wonderful talking to you, but what for you would be the things that you feel the curriculum needs to adapt or embrace for the future generations?
Well, I had an inkling you were going to ask me that. So guess what I did? I asked ChatGPT because I thought it'd be quite interesting. And ChatGPT gave me 5 answers, all of which I think are pretty good. And this comes back to, can I outsource my thinking to ChatGPT? The 5 things were critical thinking, real-world skills, project-based learning, emotional intelligence, and environmental education. And I'd had hoped it wouldn't say that in some ways because I'd like to disagree, but it's hard. But I think something like that will be how things develop in the future for education as things move in the direction of us embracing all of these new technologies.
And of course, the environment being key as well, something that we can't forget in amongst all
Absolutely.
this.
Again, rightly so, young people are almost more concerned about it. They perhaps may look at somebody like me and think I have less time than they do to worry about it. And it is a big factor, and it is something they really want to engage with, and rightly so.
Thank you so much, Chris. It's been wonderful talking to you, and I very much hope to be able to come and visit the William Perkins
We'd
School.
love to see you. That would be fantastic, in the flesh.
In the flesh,
As
face
it
to
were.
face. Thank you again.